But back to the big story of the day, the mega consolidation that has been announced. The board of Tata Steel has approved the merger of 7 Tata Group metal companies with Tata Steel. Listed entities including Tata Steel Long Products, Tinplate, Tata Metaliks and TRF will be consolidated into Tata Steel itself. Koushik Chatterjee, the Executive Director and CFO of Tata Steel, joins us now to talk about that. Mr. Chatterjee, good morning and thank you for joining us on CNBC TV 18. First, if you can just explain to us what are the synergies that come through post the amalgamation?
Good morning. So I think let me start with the strategic rationale first, and then I think it will be easier to talk about the synergies. So firstly, I think after successfully merging and integrating Bhushan Steel, it was logical for us to look at the other subsidiaries which are of strategic relevance. And I think with these companies, all of these companies have, the businesses actually have a great future going forward. So first of all, it will be a simplification. And we have in the last 4-5 years taken out across Tata Steel Group about 120 companies. So these are now the operating companies which can grow in the future. The businesses are strong, whether it is the packaging business in Tinplate, the ductile iron pipe business in Tata Metaliks, Long Products. You've already seen we've focused on and doubled down on the acquisition of Neelachal. So all of these businesses are very strategic and will have a path in the future to grow and create value. So it was logical for us to then look at these businesses. So starting from procurement synergies, technology synergies, financing synergies, and all the operating synergies associated, it made a most logical sense to do this.
Koushik, hi, good morning. Prashant here. Is there a number to the synergies you can put out there for our viewers annually?
So there is as I said, these are synergies which are pretty significant, and I think I won't put a number to it. I mean, we're working on those synergies just now, but it is pretty significant from an NPV perspective and also from a value leakage perspective. So possibly when we talk about post the Q2 results, I would be in a better position to articulate that, and it would be more relevant at that point of time because I need to tell the entire market about it.
Okay. Koushik, good morning. How will the merged balance sheet look like, and what would be your plans to sort of deleverage from here?
So all of these are obviously EPS accretive for Tata Steel standalone. On the other hand, all of these were anyway consolidated because these are all subsidiaries. So after we the minority shareholders, the minority interest part gets absorbed. But otherwise, they were on its own already being part of the consolidated balance sheet of Tata Steel. So that's less of a point. The more important point is to drive the business in the future. And I think that is what will reflect very clearly on the Tata Steel balance sheet. And when I say Tata Steel, I'm always looking at consolidated balance sheet because that's the most relevant one.
All right. Hi, Mr. Chatterjee. Nigel on this side. I've been trying to reach the managements and they weren't talking. Now we get the picture why, in fact, they were in silent period. But Mr. Chatterjee, if you could give us a sense, in Q1, what was the additional royalty that was paid by both Tata Metaliks and Tata Longs? Because they source iron ore from the parent, so that 22.5%. So for Q1, how much was it, this additional royalty?
So annually, the annual number is close to 700-800 crores.
700-800 crores.
Yeah, so it is across all entities. And
okay.
That's obviously something that will be part of the synergies, but there are others also which are pretty significant. So this is why I said it is a value leakage which will also be important.
So that's bulk of the savings then, that 700-800 crores odd?
Not all. There are other synergies also. I think the procurement synergies, apart from the royalty, are also very significant. Okay. Also, if you look at it, each of these entities have a high reliance on Tata Steel as a supplier customer. For example, we supply almost entirely the hot rolled coil substrate for Tinplate, as an example.
Okay.
So all of that will get a part of the synergy.
So Mr. Chatterjee, if you want to put a percentage number to it, royalty as a percentage of the total savings will be how much? Very, very roughly.
So
50% more? Or,
no, not that high. It will. I'm talking about an NPV basis, so it will be less than that.
Okay. So less than 50% of the benefits will be coming in because of this royalty savings. Is that correct?
Yeah, part of that.
So
yeah.
then I'm
the
assuming
royalty was effectively paid by Tata Steel.
Right.
It is to be asked from the subsidiary, whoever we got the permission to sell.
Yes.
And it would be paid by Tata Steel.
So I'm assuming that if this was a benefit of 700-800 crores, and if that's less than 50% of the benefit, then overall the synergy benefits will be in excess of around 1,500 crores.
On an NPV basis.
Okay, all right. So that's a large number then. You're going to be saving more than 1,500 crores. A quick question, Mr. Chatterjee. There were revised guidelines that came out effective April 1st on related party transactions. Was that the reasoning, or was it more because of simplification of the group structure? Just want to clear that point.
No, we would have done this anyways, because I think, as you know, that we've been driving simplification across Tata Steel for some time, and indeed, if you look at it for Tata Group. So we were, as I said, that after successfully integrating Bhushan, which was much larger, more complex, this was the next natural step. We also had an impending merger of Tata Metaliks and with TSLP, but with the NINL acquisition, the shape of the businesses of TSLP changed very significantly. So it made sense for us to then integrate all of it in Tata Steel, to make the verticals within the company rather than outside.
Okay. Sorry, Koushik, you said this is EPS accretive. How much? How much would EPS
That's
go up?
what I said, Anuj. I'll talk about it after the Q2 results.
But any ballpark number that comes?
No, as I said, I'll certainly give you the numbers. Let's wait for the Q2 results, and then I'll do it with the open market.
Fair enough. And the name remains the same, right? Tata Steel going forward?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Mr. Chatterjee, earlier we were wondering whether or not you'll consolidate this, and that's happened. So simplification has happened. The street would have been wondering now whether going ahead you're going to simplify things even more. The overseas business has been volatile. India business is more stable. Possibly you can simplify things even more, separate the India business, get a lot of value for it, and let the overseas business be separate. At some point of time, will you think of demerging both these two entities?
From an entity point of legal entity point of view, they are separate entities.
No, from a shareholder's perspective, sir. Because, the problem is in Europe, it's volatile. Sometimes it gives very good profitability. Sometimes it's a big drag. And now it's going to be going through turbulent times yet again. So that's the reason I ask you. Could that be a logical, practical step at some point of time?
If our board considers, it's all up to them. And I think it is important for us to understand that if you have seen the results in the last few quarters, Europe did give very strong results. This is a space, especially in mature geographies, where the volatility is high. But we have also learned to kind of manage these volatility. So we will have to manage these businesses to ensure that we can continue to grow in India and decarbonize in Europe.
You want to demerge both the two entities? That will be big value unlocking.
But what will you demerge? Because these are separate entities. They are entities.
List both the entities separately, sir.
Sorry?
List both the entities separately.
Okay. No, so you have to list it at a very different level, because the commodity markets and metals are different. So that's not on the table, as I can tell you at this point of time.
Overall, for the business, Mr. Chatterjee, how are things shaping up? Because steel prices have been under pressure. Demand has also not been too great globally. How do you see things over the next 6 to 12 months?
I think, as Naren has mentioned, that there is we had a very poor 2 months in the past, I think June and July, and also in August. But I think things are shaping up better. In Europe also, things are more stable than the last 2 months. Let's see where we finish the year.
Koushik, sorry, you said to Nigel that not immediately, from the shareholders' point of view, to have two separate listed companies, one for India business and one for overseas. But in the future, is that something that you would look at?
No, I said nothing is on the table at this point of time.
Okay.
I think let me be clear on that.
Koushik, this is not, I guess, maybe the wrong question to put to you, but I was looking at the TRF stock price. It's up 100% in the last 1 month, 110% in the last 1 month. I mean, looks like the market had a whiff of it. I mean, any thoughts at all?
I have no knowledge, but only thing I know is that the TRF was under the graded surveillance system for many years because of its financial results. And that in the first quarter results which came out, it demonstrated profits. And we've also changed the business model of TRF in the sense that it caters more to Tata Steel's engineering and project requirements. And I believe after the GSM was taken out, the prices have increased, what you see.
Okay. So,
but beyond that, I have no other knowledge.
Got that. Maybe that explains it. Koushik, just that royalty bid, that 1,500 crores. Can you just so that this was, you said, paid by Tata Steel to who and how? You're saying that this is part of the synergy benefits. I mean, this will basically Tata Steel will retain this amount, right? Right?
No. This is this is a part of the royalty. As far as the new mining amendments that happened in the mining bill, it is to be paid to the government for every ton of ore which is sold. And we had the permission to sell it to some of our subsidiaries because they are historically been captive to Tata Steel's ore.
Yeah.
So that is the additional cost that had come. It's not 1,500 crores. I gave.
Sorry, 700. I mean, 700. It is extra. No, 700 crores.
Yeah, and it is. It's an NPV number I gave. So I think it is. Yeah. So I think it is.
Koushik? Sure.
It is material.
Got that. So 1,500 crores is the total cost saving because of the amalgamation. I wanted one figure on the debt. Post amalgamation, what will the consolidated debt be that you're taking on board, and how much could you perhaps take it down by over the next 12 months?
So this does not change in the consolidated debt because all these companies, as I mentioned earlier, has been consolidated with Tata Steel. So there is no change in the consolidated debt, and we continue to watch this has been a challenging year. So Koushik, we will continue to focus on it.
Koushik, just one word. You can correct me if I'm wrong. What about tire rolls? That's another company in which Tata Steel has majority stake, right? I mean, that's insolvent, I guess. But the shares still trade.
NCLT.
Sorry?
Yeah, but that's in NCLT.
Okay, so is that the reason why that was not considered?
That is actually. In NCLT, it's not in an operating company any longer, so that has no future value for Tata Steel.
All right, very quickly, Mr. Chatterjee, in the past I've asked you this. We have seen that you have announced this merger with Tata Metaliks, I recall, close to around maybe 10 years or so ago. This time it's happening, right? This is going through. No reconsider after this.
No. There's no reconsider after this.
Okay, I think, Koushik, just one last thing. Have you been in discussion at a Tata Group level where we could see this kind of consolidation at a different, I mean, in the IT services business, etc. as well? Is this a group thinking to kind of consolidate businesses into one large entity where you have separate listed entities?
I wouldn't have the ability to talk about other Tata companies. I can only talk about Tata Steel, and this is what we're doing just now.
Got that.
Right, Koushik, thank you so much for joining us.